At 37, we started the Product Boss. Never ever did I ever think I only want to make $100,000. And so each of you, some of you feel lost right now because you're forgetting where you started.
I credit Jacqueline and Minna just hugely to us being able to cross that $1 million revenue mark.
When you're in the right groups and you're with like-minded people, they will hold space for you. They'll push you in certain directions. They'll support you in ways, maybe just by listening. I think that having that support is so important, especially right now.
I wanted to bring my business to the next level. Being a part of the Product Boss community has really helped me bring those to the surface and also to overcome them. So now I have a much better idea of why I have my business and what I want my business to become in the future.
Hello, everybody. Okay, let me end over here on Instagram and update everyone. So hi, friends. Good morning. So Minna is currently locked out of her house. Things happen. Good morning. Good morning. So she will be joining us. I think she's going to pull over on the side of the road and try and take this from the car. So we just love sharing with you all the behind the scenes, right? All the blend and all the things that are happening. That's why we're calling it Bosses in the Blend. So I just went on to Instagram, let them all know that what is happening? Let them all know that over here is where the party is. So good morning, my friends. Good morning, Amber, Susie, Catherine, Christy, Carmen, Cassandra, Lisa. Hello, Laura. Good morning. I know. So things happen, right? So she was, I guess, changing out the security on her house, and then oh, you're trying to give me a Bosses and Breakfast overlay. You can do whatever you want. Does it overlay my face? Okay. Just do whatever. I have no idea what's happening. So she took the kids to school. Her husband went fishing. And then she's like, you want to hear the good news or the bad news? It's like, oh my gosh, which one do I ask for first? So she's like, the bad news, I locked myself out of the house. Good news is I'm going to do it out of the car. So I was like, all right, let's do this. Mercury in retrograde. Yeah. I mean, just glad that it is all happening post multi-stream machine launch. I think everything went relatively well, more or less, you know us in tech. So yesterday was the last day. The doors closed. Who ended up signing up last minute? Let us know that you're in. Oh, there it is. Good morning and welcome to Bosses in the Blend. This is my morning voice. So who ended up signing up? And I love this. The good job, Jennifer. This is a great background. I'm in, Susie's in, Amber's in. Facebook, another Facebook user I'm in. I'm so excited that you're all in. We cannot wait. We're going to check in with you. We're going to start our 8 weeks of coaching, I believe, next week. The bonuses have been dropped. It is amazing. Cassandra says I've been streaming the students only podcast all morning. I'm in overload. I'm information overload now. Couldn't this time, next time, great. Whatever you need it. I thought it was fabulous. You had me when you said I didn't have to use IG. Yeah, we had this. Lisa says, Lisa's in and she's like, you had me when you said I didn't need to do Instagram. So, and Gia is saying, I love the bonuses. So awesome. So exciting. I'm so excited for all of our new students. So, welcome to Bosses and the Blend. And the blend is showing up imperfectly, right? The blend is locking yourself out of your house and still trying to figure it out. I see my friend Minna coming from the car right now. So I see her down below. And that's the blend, right? Like, it's sometimes we want to show up for the commitments we've made. even when things don't feel like they're working. And thank goodness that we've all turned into a virtual world. And so we do show up imperfectly. I think that's one of the most beautiful things about the pandemic is that, hello.
Oh, hello. Well, actually, it looks like I'm a newscaster or something.
I
So,
almost wore that exact same sweatshirt.
you
Like,
have it, the Farm Rio one?
I have the full set.
Oh my gosh.
And
We
that
could have
was
been
gonna be I was like,
twins.
all I wanted to wear was a sweatshirt today. And I was like, I think I'm gonna wear it. And then somehow I ended up in this. So we would have been twinning without knowing.
Oh my gosh. So, it's been a morning, everybody. I don't know if Jacqueline filled you in how I locked myself out of the house. Then I think you all know when my panic starts to set in, my anxiety, my stomach starts to feel queasy and a lot is happening. So I was like, I got to get to my parents' house in case I have to either throw up or, whatever else. And anyways, but I didn't want to have them lecture me about locking myself out of the house. So I parked away from their house. So I don't have
And you're still showing up
explain to
live for
them.
like 100 people.
I don't have to explain to them what happened this morning to delay all this, because that is the blend, everybody. When you're 40 something and your parents will still lecture you, even if you have a life of your own. Okay.
I, I had the same conversation with my husband. He's like, maybe just don't talk to your mom about that so you don't have to get lectured.
And the thing is, they always give me a hard time about like forgetting things. And I always, here's my defense all the time. I'm like, I don't need to remember all the things. I have to remember more than the average person. And I was like, at least I'll never forget my kids. So I'm always like, at least my kids are surviving. So the kids have been dropped off at school. And, but yeah, I didn't remember the other stuff. So
You remembered to show up for this. Good job.
yeah, for sure. That was what I was planning on. That's why.
Yeah. And you know what? We have forgotten our kids a couple times. I'm not gonna lie. There's been after schools where we'd be like, oh my
But they're
God.
surviving. They're surviving. So I can't see the chat. So hopefully you all. Oh
They're
my
all
gosh.
wait.
My husband just texted me. He's in the house. Okay. Well, how'd he get in?
Call,
Did he break
the
in?
call is coming from inside the house.
Don't scare me. I hate horror films like that.
So you knew that's like the only one I've ever watched.
Okay, so thank you everybody for showing up. Are there people watching? I can't tell from my end.
Mm-hmm. There's about 100 people almost on.
Okay. Wow.
82 for now.
Okay. Well, this is the blend, everybody. So originally what
You want to know my blend?
Yeah, I would love to.
I'm gonna see.
Your grandma. Oh my gosh. No, that's not a random old lady. That is Jacqueline's actual grandma. So everybody that was on live with us this week, believe it or not, because where Jacqueline's office is also the guest room, and her grandma's been staying with her for this week. She's been in the room as we're like enrolling people into multi-stream.
There's been naps happening, and then she'll open her eyes and be like, "You're so dressed up," then go back.
Okay, there's nothing more abundant than a grandma. So I love it.
So she, because my grandma has Parkinson's, so it's hard for her to walk. She's pretty shaky, and so stairs are hard for her. So we've decided that when she comes to visit, because she's also starting not to drive, it's a whole thing. So when she comes to visit, this is the ground floor, and so it's easiest for her to be able to go into my office. So we actually have a bed like against the wall on the other side. So it's like not a guest room for everybody, but for grandma it is.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
She's an 87-year-old British woman. Who, so she's like, I was like, Grandma, you can come in and you can get dressed. Like, I'll be live doing this. But since you are sharing your thing, I should share what's happening on the other side.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And she's so cute. She was in her pajamas. And if I know any English people, they don't like being shown in pajamas.
You didn't see the front. So it's her house dress, Minna.
Oh yeah, house dress.
Or right. House coat.
Oh my gosh, adorable. She's so adorable.
Yeah, so she was she's going to get dressed. So don't tell her I showed it live, but I just thought that in counterbalance to what's happening in your world. Everyone should see that we're just making it.
And I don't know where are we airing this? Is it on our Facebook page?
Facebook, YouTube, and the groups.
Oh,
Hi,
great.
YouTube.
My dad could be watching right now.
Does your dad know you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, of course. Remember that one time he was like, "Hi, Minna," and I was like,
On
"Oh
YouTube?
my god!" Not YouTube. He watches on Facebook page.
Right. Okay. So he might be here on Facebook, but on
Yeah.
YouTube,
Don't worry, Dad. Nothing's happening.
my kids will keep asking me to be YouTubers.
Yeah.
Oh,
For sure.
I
Every kid.
Mom has a YouTube channel, so his dad. I was like, we don't do anything. Everybody content, but and exhausting. Oh, is it me? Am I still here? What is happening?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, like the interwaves, you know.
Jennifer also disappeared for a second.
Oh, she did? Oh, that was weird.
It's like the great blip.
Yeah, for sure. Like what's
Mercury has
happening?
retrograded in full today. Now there's over 100 people.
Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn. I actually am just naming off random retro ones that are in retrograde because Mercury has to always take all the slack.
Jennifer, was I breaking up? It was me?
Oh.
Who knows?
Okay. So everybody, it's been an amazing week of enrolling new students into Multi-Stream Machine. We're so excited. And one of the things that I had wanted to bring up today was the fact that it is our last show of this season. Now, this season of Bosses in the Blend, I know it whizzed by because it's 8 weeks. It's an 8-week season. And I know that you are probably going to miss us, I'm sure, as we will miss all of you. But the thing that I wanted to talk about, especially today, was the fact that you can build your business around your life. And what is it going to take? It's going to take focusing and probably setting up guardrails on the things that you want to do and the things that you don't want to do. Now, I'm saying that, not saying that we don't want to do Bosses and Breakfast, but the thing is, we only have so much time on our schedule that we do really want to focus on our students. So that's the thing is, there for all of us, for you in your life as well, when you're thinking about your business in your life, you have to kind of prioritize and then you have to build it around what you want to do. So Jacqueline and I, what we decided was we definitely want to keep doing Bosses in the Blend for sure, 100%. The only way that we could do it was to rethink it. So sometimes if you still want to continue to do something, does it have to look the same? No, the answer is no. It just, you think about it in a different way. So for us, that meant doing in 8-week segments of 3 times a year. In the times that we have the capacity to do it, when we can have fun doing it or we enjoy doing it because we love it. And that's really what I wanted to talk a little bit about today. What do you think, Jacqueline?
Yeah, Carmen says I'm going to be in Jacqueline and Minna withdrawal. If you're in Multi-Stream Machine, it's just the Jacqueline and Minna gift that keeps giving. If I'm going to talk about myself in third person. Yeah. So, I think, and a lot of times Minna and I have had these discussions as business partners separately, like off air, obviously, where it's been, because there's 2 of us, how do we make this business and our lives combine and work well together, right? And we're on different time zones, we have different priorities, we have different times we pick up our kids, all the things that are happening, right? And so when you're by yourself, when you operate by yourself, sometimes I think you could push yourself to capacity because maybe you're only talking to your spouses or your partners, or things start to feel like you can push through. I'll tell you that from personal experience. Like my husband for a long time was like, we joke like a 1950s housewife of like, dinner's ready on the table. Where are you? Like he'd be waiting for me to come home from the office when I used to still have my office downtown LA. And he'd be like, where are you? I've made dinner. You said you were going to be home an hour ago. And I'd be like, oh, well, I got to do this, and this, and this, because work took priority. And so sometimes it's hard to find that blend or that balance. And so in meeting Mina, and as we've grown up together in the last, few years, like transitioning our 30s into our 40s, our kids getting older, we've really had each other to bounce it off of. And now the both of us love to work and can keep working, or we can pull back a little bit and say, well, what do you need? Or what, like, we'll ask each other, what do you need? How do we pick it up? So that's the beautiful thing about having a partnership. It's kind of reflecting back and needing
Mm-hmm.
to find that um blend between both of our lives coming together and doing stuff for work. So, what's great about that is what our blend was let's show up, let's do the things, let's show up live, let's do all the things that we need to do when we need to do them, and then we will pull back a bit, especially as, speaking of, when we're calling you the introvert and then the assumption is I'm the extrovert, I am, but there's also a point where you also need to pull back too and read your energy. So anyways, when we say that, what we want you all to do is, even if you don't have a business partner, right? Even if you have this community, think about how you can make your life work, your business work for your life versus you work for your business. Now, there are times that we will feel out of whack. A lot of you are going into the holiday season, so it might be a time where you're stepping in and business is more of a priority than blending and balance, or, family. But know that you push during your busy season, and then you get to kind of, when you're done with your busy season, how do you pull back a little bit and then try and find that blend a bit easier, right? It's
Yeah.
less heavy on the business, and you're trying to find yourself again. And we have come out of a really busy season. Now we're going into support mode for all of you and on our students. And for each of you, as you step in, find that blend, right? Find what
Yeah.
you need, but have your business work for you.
Yeah, I think that the exercise that I want to leave you all with as on this last one is to have the forethought of what it's going to be like for you this holiday season. So, for example, though it may feel like you're putting your business first, what are your non negotiables when it comes to your personal life? So, for example, I haven't had the forethought to even take family pictures. We haven't taken family pictures in 6 years. That was our last one. And before that, it was probably, you know, every couple years. Well, this year, after 6 years, I finally was like, I actually really wouldn't want to take a new picture because my daughter, my oldest daughter, is like a young lady. And my 7 year old is like, her face is changing. Like she's not, my chubby face little girl anymore. And I miss it so much. And so I even bought like black and white buffalo plaid that we're going to like be all matching. And I was like, it just takes a little bit of forethought. So for me, that is on my list of things that I want to get done in this fourth quarter. And so that'll probably be in October. So I want you all to sit down and think, what is like one or two traditions of your family that you want to really, you're non-negotiable for personal. Bring out a calendar. Literally, it doesn't have to be a lot. I'm only doing that one thing, and I'm doing pajamas for Christmas. So usually we do Christmas Eve. We'll be wearing matching pajamas. And so for sure, I'm going to do that. But other than that, I'm going to let the rest go, you know? And then for business, because business, I have to do a lot more stuff. I want to make sure that week by week, I know that this is what I'm going to be focusing on. Now, does it have to go that way? Absolutely not. I just want to make sure that like my butt is covered for like, my effort as well as the money I need to bring in, essentially. So then it gives me like clarity of like week by week by week. But every single week on Sunday, I'm like, what is this week going to bring? And then I can shift it up and pivot as needed or whatever. But it just kind of gives me a way to ground myself because I'm not thinking like, oh shoot, I was supposed to do this, or I was supposed to do that, or I was supposed to do this. And then that's what makes you go into overwhelm is these things that you were like, oh, shoulda on yourself, when really one or two things is fine and let the rest go, you know? And then, but make sure that in order for you not to spiral out, in order for you to enjoy the holiday season of making money, is that you know that you are focusing on certain things, but you have the forethought that you sat down with the calendar and you're like, okay, this is when my promotion is happening this week, and this is when it's happening this week or whatever. So, or this is my off week and I can focus on this. So you kind of have like a template of what the week is going to look like, and then you can adjust accordingly. And then it just is really helpful that way.
So we talked about this last year, and so I'm
Hmm.
gonna say our phrase again, because we won't necessarily be with you all closer to Thanksgiving. But let's say you usually make the pie, right?
Hmm.
We came up with the phrase "buy the pie." So what does buy the pie mean? Okay, I want you all to like think about these as we roll into the holiday season. A lot of times we shit on ourselves, right? Should do this, should do that. I will tell you, coming from a traditional household where my mom and my grandma cook and make the pies from scratch, make food from scratch, everything's from scratch. And I'm like, I really love pumpkin pie, and I would be the one who made the pumpkin pie because I wanted the pumpkin pie. And then eventually it's like I'm so overwhelmed about the pie, right? Especially when we're working and it's our busy season and it's starting to feel like we have to do, like Rachel says, do all the things. And then we came up with this last year as a group and we were like, why don't we just buy the pie? We're still bringing the pie. It's still the pumpkin pie, but do we have to have the badge of honor that like we made this pie from scratch? No. And I'll tell you, I feel that way now that I live back at home with where my family is. It's the Jewish holidays are coming up this weekend. It's like the Jewish New Year. and and like everybody in my family, well, my mom and my grandma used to host everything. Well, now my sister-in-law hosts, and I would host when I live somewhere else. But for this family in particular, I'm not usually the host because they all kind of do the things they do it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to host. I think I'm going to do Hanukkah this year. I'm going to host Hanukkah, but I keep feeling bad that I don't make the food from scratch. Like my sister-in-law has the soup cooking the night before and the turkey and all the stuff that like is very traditionally like and I can make them all. But I also am running this incredibly huge business with an incredibly huge community. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to bring the food in. I'm just going to bring the
Absolutely.
food in because I'm still hosting my family. They're still happy that I'm here and that they're here with me, right? And I'm the one who's most concerned about the idea of like if I'm not cooking it or baking it or doing the things that they do, but I'm still able to have the family here and then I'm going to buy the pie. So I just want you all to think about that when you're thinking about what this season is going to bring, because it really is a lot between family and business, and it is also a very busy season for you. So how do
Hmm.
you blend and how do you let some things go and be okay with it? Because what is the core reason you're doing it, right? Is it to
Right.
be with your kids? Is it to wake up with them Christmas morning and matching PJs? Some people might be like, well, I'm going to make those PJs like and iron on my own things. And you're like, no, I'm going to go find them and buy them.
Yeah. And then you make it happen, even if it's for 5 minutes, because sometimes it's not even the way you expect. And here's the other thing too, is like a lot of times we try to people please during this season because it's like we should be doing it right. But should you? Is that what you want? You as a person deep down, like, is that what you want? Because even like one of my goals this year was to, or one of my big accomplishments this year was having a sunroom being built. So it's being attached. It's a 3 seasons room. And everybody that hears about it is like, yay, now you can start hosting things. But if you know me, I am I like to be hosted. I don't love to host. I used to host all the time because I would do events and, had a big wedding and all these things, and I'm good at hosting. Now, it would also bring me stress though, and I'm a little
Mhm.
bit burnt out of all the times that I would host. And it's been a gazillion years since I've hosted, but now that we have that sunroom and that 3 seasons room, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, that'll be so great. You can put a like an entertainment area out there, blah blah blah." And I'm thinking, "No, thank you."
You're like, this is my quiet space with a book,
Yeah.
people.
But it makes sense because it's just like, yeah, we could entertain in there, and every time I look up like how people decorate it, it's with like a little sectional and some plants, blah blah blah. And I'm like, you know what, I'm going to sit down and think about what I want in there. So it actually, and then also I'm going to take my time with it, because one of the best pieces of advice that I ever got was that don't feel like you have to have everything done. It sometimes, like when you get your own space, like especially as a creative, things have to call to you. So I've loved that piece of advice. Like, I'm going to, have what's in there, but then I'm going to it could take years where I bring in my special pieces or whatever. But I know that one of the things, like, I'm going to make it a creativity room, and then the kids can do art in there and I can take naps in there. So those were my non-negotiables. I wanted an area where a place that I could take naps because I really love sleep. I wanted a place that I could put like plans, but maybe even just mint. I wanted a place that I could put my books and all my work stuff. And that was it. Like, that's fine. That was what, wasn't like when people hear it, it's like, oh, but you could be entertaining in there. Yeah, I could. But daily wise, I don't want to be doing that. And so I think that we get into this place where we think people think I should do this, or I think that I should do this. When is that really what you should, or what you really deep down want? Like, you kind of have to do a kind of internal reflection of taking a pause, putting into your calendar of the things that really do matter to you and the things that you have to prioritize, because in the end, you're only one person, and it's okay for you to hang on to things, but you also have to let other things go. So this idea of entertaining that other people have, I'm okay with not meeting that for them, but because I really want it to be my space. Now, does it make me feel a little bit like, yeah, I wish I could provide that for them or whatever else, so then you get into these things in your head about pleasing other people, or about pleasing even the things that you should do or whatever. But really, if you sit down and you have the forethought and the foresight of, this is how I want it to go, and it turns out the end result is that, then that's what you're okay with, and that's what makes you happy.
And someone
So
says it sounded like you said X on yourself, then they put the little poop emoji, but we did say you should
yeah,
not should on yourself.
yeah.
Okay, it's the poop emoji should, you could swap them out if you'd like,
Mhm.
but don't should on yourself. And that should means the shoulds are the thing that makes us feel bad or guilty. The shoulds
Yeah.
are the things that are like, I should be doing this, but do you want to be doing those?
Uh-huh.
Right? Swap it out with want. I want to do this, or I don't want to do this. And if you don't want to do it, I'm going to tell you, we're both really close to our families. Mina operates like the oldest kid in her family out of 4 girls. I'm the oldest out of 5. There's a lot of responsibility to the generation that's older than us, and also to the younger. Like, my cousin goes up to me and goes, Jacqueline, you're the matriarch of this family. Like, you are the matriarch. And I go, your mom's still alive, my mom's alive, your grandma's alive, my grandma's alive. Like, how I like 5th in line. What, like, how are you putting this on me? Right. And I was like, there are other matriarchs, like there's 2 generations of matriarchs, thank God, still with us. So, I think, and it's like the shoulds, and it's like, yeah, I am the oldest, and I take that perspective of it. But at the same time, when I've hosted, now that I live where my family is, like, I haven't cooked, I haven't done anything. No, because I'm on the internet all day
Yeah.
helping other people make
You just are
millions of
doing it
dollars.
differently,
Yeah. And I'm grateful to have them over. They can come. I will order the food from like the local barbecue place. I will feed them. I will put it in the trash, and we will be done. Even if we're
Yeah.
eating on paper plates,
Yeah.
right? Which I have a lot of really pretty plates, and I think I should bring out my beautiful like china I got for my wedding and host people in that way. But should I? Because who really wants to do those dishes? So I think for each of you, I want you to think about the shoulds and shoulding on yourself, shoulding on yourself, and try and, when you catch yourself with that word, try and think about a different way. Think about, this is your way, because guess what? Each of you have, in your own way, become entrepreneurs, which
Mhm.
I'm sure there's a lot of ways you could say, I should have done this, or my parents expect me to do that, or I grew up
I
thinking I was
should
going
be
to do
further
this.
along now. I
Uh-huh.
should, like, that's the comparison thing of I should, you
Compare
comparing
and
to,
despair.
yeah,
You compare, it's
compare and
despair.
despair. That's right. Um, and it's just not true. So, like, if you can think of like what you want the end result to be, like vision for this holiday season, and this week is going to look like this, and even it's not going to go perfectly. Clearly, you might lock yourself out of the house and be parked a block away from your parents' house, you know, doing a live
Not
like
wanting to go
me.
in there so you don't get yelled at.
And it won't be perfect, but you'll have a baseline. And then you will pivot like you always have. You figured it out. So I think that allowing that for yourself to be like, you know what, because right now I could be like, shoot, I was supposed to do this, or I was supposed to do that, and blah blah blah. But you know what, the only thing that I really, really, really wanted to get done today was being with our students in the accelerator, for example, right? So that is like a non-negotiable for me. But other than that, I probably could have even canceled Bosses in the Breakfast or Bosses in the Blend, I mean, but I didn't. I just made it work, right? So I think for all of you, you will find a way to make it work, but you know that at the end result of it, that you'll feel good at the end of the day and be like, I did what I did my best at it, and I was okay with it how it turned out, because it's just like um it's how you approach it or whatever, that that okay, that imperfections will happen or whatever, but at the end of the day, I only for sure wanted to get accelerator stuff done. That's just an example, right? So, for example, at the end of the holiday season, I know that I want to have made a certain amount of money. I know that for sure I want to get family pictures done. That's personal. And then for sure I want to do the pajamas, and then I want to host Christmas Eve. And then the
Oh,
rest
you
of the
are
stuff is like,
hosting.
yeah, well, I'm hosting only for my husband's side, but my
Okay.
parents always host the other side. And so those are the non-negotiables, and everything else I'm letting go, you know, and I'm okay with it, so.
You know what I'm letting go?
uh,
Decorating my house for Halloween.
oh, you decorate your house for Halloween? That wasn't even on my list.
No, it wasn't. But every year before, I've gone and gotten the pumpkins, and maybe
Yeah. Oh,
when
we do
October hits.
pumpkins though, but I
Yeah.
think of those as like fall time.
Yeah, I guess we're here though, because people are starting to put skeletons in front of their house and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But I know where there's I still haven't fully unpacked from moving across the country. So my like I need to I told my husband, I was like, we'll have pictures up on the wall by December. So I think, there's stuff like that where I still have to unpack, I still have to purge. Like there's still we moved back across the country and then went straight into really one of the biggest times that we've ever, worked for, like through the summer, getting ready for the workshops, getting ready for the challenge, getting ready for all of it. Plus Lauren, who runs our company, is having a baby in early October. So there's a lot happening over here. So I think so here's what I want you all to do. I want you to put into the chat one thing you're willing to let go, that maybe is a I should, but feels super overwhelming and feels super
Yeah.
unaligned, like
And
buy the
if
pie.
you find yourself wanting to hang on to it, it might just look different. So for example, we held on to Bosses and the Blend, but it just had to look different. It had to be 8-week runs, right? 8-week seasons. She held on to hosting, but it had to look different. She had to pay for the food coming in. So when you want to hold on to something, you just have to reconfigure it to make it work for your life versus you know, having it run your life and your business. That's the thing, that's the whole purpose of this exercise.
Yeah, so someone said, Lexi says no Friendsgiving hosting this year. So she's not going to host it. Let's say though that you wanted to host it still, but you just want it to
Made it
look
a
different.
potluck,
Yeah, it could be
rented
a
a
potluck.
shelter, whatever it is. Everybody
Yeah.
put in $5 for a shelter. I don't know where you live, so
What's a shelter?
it's things that you can rent around here.
For $5?
Well, I mean, if you have a big family like me, everybody doing $5, that's like 20 people, that's $100. I don't know, I'm just, obviously that was bad math,
Just what
but
year are we living in?
welcome to 1985.
In Iowa. I can't even rent
No,
a room for an hour.
I got an acai bowl this morning. And when I say this to all the bakers that join Multi-Stream Machine, or all the ones that are like, I'm charging $1 or whatever for my cookies, because we had another person in the accelerator that said, I'm the most expensive. I paid $12 for the oh my god,
Acai bowl.
acai bowl in Iowa. $12 for it. So don't feel like you're, pricing yourself out of the game, okay?
Well, like when I went to Erewhon, which when you come to LA, I have to take you to this place. It's
I need it for what is Bieber's wife's name?
Haley Bieber. They've got a
Haley,
smoothie
yeah,
there.
Haley Bieber. It's her. They're from Erewhon. It's a $17 smoothie.
Yeah, so they did like a
Mhm.
promotion with her where they did her name as part of the smoothie. But now that I'm in LA, I go, Oh my God, it's so expensive. It is so expensive. So I got a coffee there the other day. I got like a latte, a large latte. And I was like, can you add a scoop of collagen? Because, they've got all the like extra stuff. So I decided to try
Uh-huh.
that. It's like $14. It's like
Yeah.
$14 for a latte. What has happened to my life?
Well,
So
that
I paid
smoothie
it.
though, there it went viral on TikTok, and they
Yeah,
were like,
$17.
yeah, $17, and everybody's like, it actually tastes like it's worth $17 because Erewhon is high quality ingredients. They justify it's everything around the
Oh, you
product,
should
right?
see. Yeah, like I'm actually in this smoothie, I have the same collagen that they put in hers, but the
Uh-huh.
collagen that they put in hers is $100 for a bag. So I had to
Oh
split it with
wow,
my mom.
looks different. So and the oh my gosh.
Acai.
Acai bowl that I
Acai,
got
yeah.
this morning that was $12. I will say that if it was from Erewhon and it was $17, I would have paid more for it to taste different because it's actually really sweet and not healthy tasting. So I will say that it has to be like, but that's I'm not their ideal customer because they're all their baked goods are a little bit sweeter. Like I go to them for their sandwiches and soups, but they are known for their sweets. They have this like they're known for this Carmelita, which is like caramel and chocolate, and it's like it. The last time I ate it, because they were known for it, it gave me a headache. It was so sweet. So they're clearly, going for that more like sweets type of person. It's not me, clearly, but I go there for different things. So it's like off the peripheral of their um ideal customer. But I would say that, if I would have eaten that acai bowl and felt like it was worth $12, 100%. I would have been like, "Ooh, this is not that sweet. It's tart like how I like it. It's crunchy. It's all these different things, like the that smoothie from Erewhon. People are like, "Ooh, it's actually worth $17." So
Well,
it's
when
like
you
everything
live where
around
there's
the
an
product would
Erewhon
justify
when
it.
you live where there's an Erewhon, you've already been trained to think $17 is worth it.
Yeah, right?
Because there are other smoothies are like 15. But okay, so let's go back to the things you're all gonna
Yeah.
let go of,
Yeah, read
okay?
them out loud.
So I quit cooking turkeys about a decade ago, maybe Christmas potluck fondue this year. Trisha says no decorating for fall. Um, Carrie's gonna let go of spending 2 weeks before baking Christmas cookies. Carrie, go order cookies from one of the product bosses that sells cookies, right? You're supporting a small business and you don't have to bake them. And so it's a win-win. People are saying Halloween decorations for sure, not this year.
What about
Um,
some business stuff though? Is there any business ones?
Someone said about earrings, letting go of my necklaces and earrings to focus on my bracelets since they are my best sellers. Yes,
They
Anastasia.
clearly a student right there, you
Yes.
know.
So, and that's the thing, right? Like, there are certain things that Mina and I are going to be shifting and changing in our business that we're working on in the last quarter of this year as we move into the new year, right? And so our offers might look different, things might look different, but that's because we are rearranging and thinking, okay, it felt this way. What do we want to do to make our businesses work for our life, right? Instead of
Hmm.
us work for our
Just
businesses.
like the example of bosses in the blend, we
It
changed the
was called
name.
Bosses and Breakfast, and then we
Yeah,
moved
it
it
used to
to
be
a bit
Bosses and
later.
Breakfast. Yep. Now we changed it to Bosses in the Blend, and there was even a couple people that were like, "I'm really having a hard time with this change of name," which could make us feel terrible. But instead, it was like, you know what, we're making it work for us, and that's okay, and and we're okay with it, right? And then also the 8-week seasons, everybody might not love, but we wanted to keep it, but it had to look different, you know so for all of you, like, I know that if you don't want to get rid of the earrings, maybe it's instead a set that you focus on, or maybe it's instead that you focus on the earrings in a different season. So those are just some ideas of like how it could look different, but you make it according to adjusting to what you want your life and energy to look like.
Mhm. This says I always want to do Christmas bundles, but haven't because I couldn't make them perfect and fancy looking. I'm going to let go of how I think they should look and just get them done. I tape done is better than perfect above my computer monitor because I need to hear that every single day.
Yeah,
Christy says I used to bring home decor to my boutiques, just bringing my best-selling bedding this year. Huge weight off my back. Thank you for writing that
love
again,
it.
Christy, because I couldn't understand the one above. So I'm glad you wrote that. So that's the thing too with our products. I think that's why we teach you about bestsellers and bestseller secrets, right? That's even why we've said to you that you don't need social media. Like what we teach inside of Multi-Stream Machine teaches you that you can grow your business without social media as well, right? We teach you visibility and sales
Yeah.
without having to rely on it. So just because we should doesn't mean we have to.
Or we
Doesn't mean that
think we should.
we think we should, right? Doesn't
Yeah.
Cassandra says, you ladies have helped me stop buying fabric, right? So there's a lot of stuff here. And I think what the whole goal, and I think we've executed it very well over this season, Minna, is
Yeah.
showing the blend.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
this is not staged. I've literally for real locked myself out.
but and you're literally in front of your in your parents' house, but that's the thing, right? Like there's a lot of coaches or a lot of people out there with platforms that show the perfect side, right? Or
Yeah.
they only show up while perfect. I mean, same thing today. I was like, I didn't blow dry my hair. What do I do? It's like I actually sprayed some brown on my gray because I haven't been able to get my hair done. So there's like a little gray coverage right here. And I was like, I'm just gonna show up, right? I did the eyebrows. But there's actually, should I show this part? I'm gonna show this
Sure.
part. Okay, I'm wearing a cute top, right? But I've got pajama pants on.
That's what I was wearing earlier too. I have sweats on right now, but because I thought I was gonna have to walk to the door, but I don't care if you know, people see me. I'm sure I look like I just rolled out of bed, which I do. But then to have to get on air in front of 100 people, I was expecting to have a little bit of time to put myself together, but it is what it is. And it's
Yeah. And
fine.
so we want to just be open and honest with all of you that like we're blending it too, right? We both have 2 kids. We both have responsibilities to like our families. I live where my family is now. Again, Mina's lived where her family is.
Mhm.
That we show up imperfectly, right? We show up
Yeah.
as we are.
Because
And
I
that
wanted to drop the kids off this morning,
and
so
a
it's like
hundred
that was the
people are
thing.
still watching us live. We have millions and millions of people that
Did you
listen to our.
see Jacqueline's adorable grandma that was in the background there?
Don't tell her I put her on. But and that's the thing, right? Like we have a very, very big community. And I think it's sometimes irresponsible to show perfection.
Yeah.
And I think if we're going to talk about the blend of business and life, if we're gonna make it that more women feel confident and comfortable in this new kind of world and experience that we're creating, then we have to model that for you too.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there are people out there that don't have kids that look perfect every day, that show up and they coach or they do whatever they do. And it's like, then I like if I'm gonna look and I'm gonna compare and despair, I'm gonna look at them and be like, well, it's possible for them because they don't have kids or
Yeah.
because they're making all this
And
money,
it
right?
stops your action,
Yeah. Versus like, okay, well, how do I want my life to look? How do I want to make this happen for me? So
Yeah.
I think that's what I want all of you to do too, right? Like if you can see that we can still maintain a community and that you all are still watching us right now, even with Mina wearing no makeup in a car and I've got pajamas on and, did the best I could. And the other day I spilled water on my computer right as we were going live. So there's things that happen and
Mhm.
if people are repelled by us, then that's okay too, right? Then we're not the coaches for them. But if
Mhm.
if people lean in and go, this is how I feel, I want to see the imperfections, I'm okay with you two being a mess with the tech, great. And let
Yeah.
us model that,
And for us, it also is a way for us to still be able to move forward, like even if it's like, okay, bosses in the blend, it's the last show of the season. And I know people said that they're going to go into withdrawal, but this is literally the way it's a win-win scenario here. We still were able to do 8 weeks. We still love it. We're now able to focus on our students, and then all of you get to you still got the 8 weeks with us, so either way it's a win-win. You still get to walk away with this last show knowing, I know now Jacqueline and Minna in this 8 weeks taught me I need to think about making my business work for me, and that will look different than what everybody else wants, you
Yep.
know so do that exercise for yourself. Think about these upcoming months and then let some things go. And that's perfectly fine, you know? And then,
Yep.
but then, And then if you want to hang on to things, make it different if you need to. Readjust it,
Yeah.
reconfigure it.
So here's how we're going to go into support mode now for all of you. So our brand new students in multi-stream machine, you're not going to miss our voices. We're in there with you. There's going to be 8 weeks of live Q&A.
Yep.
Via the podcast app. You have all the amazing things. Those of you who have been with us the last few weeks getting ready for the holiday season, thank you for doing that with us. It was one of the absolute best times we've ever had doing this every year. And we will be on the podcast. So twice a week, right? Twice a week, we're going to be the podcast drops. If you could do us a favor, if this has been helpful to you, would you mind leaving us a positive review? If it's not positive, just text me. Just DM me.
Just DM us. No, yeah, don't put it up
But
if it's a negative review.
But leave a review. Make sure to follow and subscribe. Share the podcast with people you know to help bring them in and make them feel less alone. And then keep an eye out for your email. I hope you haven't unsubscribed, resubscribed. The emails are slowing down, and come back to us. And then we're going to be here in support mode. So we have a lot of really fun things happening over the next few months. We're going to be here to support you. We're going to be thinking through like where you're at, and that's what the podcast is going to help you with. And then also a little bit for the blend, right? So the podcast is where it's at. You get us twice a week, plus there's 400 plus episodes now to go back and listen to. So that's where we're going to be for you. And then we can't wait, because in the new year, we're going to kick off with another challenge, and there's going to be so many new things.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure. We will see you as we see you. We'll see you over at the podcast. And thank you for spending all this time with us.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us and being so gracious in your time. We do not take that for granted at all. So thank you for spending this time with us, and we appreciate it. So
yes.
we'll see you.
And
we'll
the
see you in the
podcast
inside.
is every Monday and Thursday. A new episode drops. And actually, we've got people watching us live on YouTube right now. So if you want to get more of us as well, head to YouTube and search The Product Boss, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Oh, and also TikTok if you really want to come follow us everywhere. We have about 170 followers on TikTok. So let's get to 200.
Yeah. All right. Thanks,
All
everybody.
right. Bye, everyone.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.